At this water park in Ontario, there's been a wave of hiring.
I love kids and I love being around people, so why not work at a water park?
This is Tashayla Edwards' first job. She had no problem landing it, with businesses across Canada desperate for workers.
To get to know that you worked for your own money and like you did the hours and you were committed, it just feels good.
The park ramped up training for lifeguards and offered perks like free passes and was able to hire more than 400 staff over the past few months.
We definitely have competitive wages, and in the departments where we were struggling, we added some incentives.
So what jobs were lost in June? Retail took a hit. Employment also fell in sectors like healthcare and education.
Finance, insurance, and real estate are beginning to sag. And that, I think, is a signpost that higher interest rates are already beginning to work their way through the economy.
Self-employment is also down, and more Canadians 55 and older retired. Still, the job market is tighter than it's been in years. Last month, that pushed wages up more than 5% compared to a year ago, the fastest increase in more than 2 decades.
This is what's really scaring policymakers at the moment, is that there could become this wage price spiral, where wages keep going up and businesses keep raising prices.
Economists called this jobs report strange, odd, even messy. Still, they expect policymakers to focus on bringing down inflation. And many are predicting the Bank of Canada will hike interest rates by 75 basis points next week. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's put all of this into perspective now. Senior business correspondent Peter Armstrong is here to help us sort through it. Peter, a lot of numbers coming at us, seemingly, it feels like, at least in different directions.
There are. And look, there's contradictions in this report, just as right now, there are contradictions in the economy. I mean, look around. GDP is expanding. There's never been a better time to look for a job. And yet, we just got the first official forecast for a recession this week. And as consumers and even business owners struggle to make sense of all this, you can see policymakers as well struggling to figure out how to message this.
There are a lot of global factors that we have no control over, but I want people to be very confident in the safety and stability of our financial sector.
Today's economic news confirms the fact that my economic plan is moving this country in a better direction.
Despite all that, you did mention, Peter, the first official forecast about a recession. I also sense that the big question is how to avoid one right now.
And look, it's a good question that, frankly, we just don't have an answer to. All of the forecasts show at least a pretty significant slowing of the economy. But here's the problem, Vashi, that consumers are following this message pretty closely, and you can hear it from your friends and your neighbors and everybody you talk to. They're worried, and as they worry, they're going to scale back on spending and try to save for a rainy day that now seems pretty imminent. And if they scale back too much, they can slow the economy even more and potentially amplify that downturn. So it's a really incredibly tricky time.
All right, thank you, Peter.
You bet.